This monkey is a natural-born rebel. He bows to no one. Celestial soldiers and generals are like toddlers before him. To him, the denizens of Monster Avenue are nothing but a tasty feast. His antics have drawn the ire of several major demons. Before you stand the overlords of Monster Avenue. Among them is the nine-tailed fox, a mistress of seduction. The many-eyed demoness, who can ensnare your very soul. And the bull demon king, strong enough to pull mountains. They usually keep to themselves, living in peace. But recently, this monster monkey appeared out of nowhere. He is giving these big shots quite the headache. Wherever he goes, demon tribes are laid to waste. To teach this arrogant monkey a lesson he won't forget. The big demons have finally joined forces. Not only does he refuse to join them, but he means to butcher the lot of them. While they were just debating who should strike first, the Cyclops giant could not hold back and charged in. Legend says his axe can split mountains and stop rivers. The massive explosion left the others gasping in shock. They wondered if the monkey was finally done for. But the next second brought a scene that blew their minds. The monkey grabbed him like a hawk snatching a chick. With a casual flick, he tossed the giant 100 meters away. With a slight squeeze of his hand, the giant was instantly torn to pieces. Just as he was about to savor hhis victory, a girl named Guozi stopped him just in time. Once a monster tastes human flesh, it turns into a terrifying demon. You will never stop. You will only hunger for more. Eventually, you will even try to eat me. Hearing this, Sun Wukong had no choice but to let it go. Just then, a whistling sound cut through the air toward them. After comforting Guozi, Sun Wukong transformed into a human. He planned to properly greet these demon overlords. I am Wang Mei. My demon friends call me Old Buddha Wang Mei. I handle the disputes here on Monster Avenue. You have caused quite enough trouble already. You still want to stay? What of it? You follow the rules here. If you want this turf, you pay tribute. You have to get my approval first. Sun Wukong's temper instantly flared at that. Big demons, small demons, I am thrashing all of you today. I am taking on the whole of Monster Avenue alone. Let us see who can hurt me. Wang Mei exploded in rage at the insult. He released the shackles in his hand. His pet hound lunged for the monkey. Sun Wukong narrowed his eyes. He braced himself, unleashing his trademark move. A single punch struck the hound straight on. Just as he felt smug, two giant horns pierced straight through his chest. Care to guess if Sun Wukong is 18 or eternally young? Hey you, the dummy at the top of the list, come guess along. This is a world where gods and demons coexist. The 8 legions are often spoken of by men. Yet there is one name, neither god nor demon, yet he shakes the 3 realms. He is the great sage equal to heaven, Sun Wukong, born from a stone on a night when meteorites rained from the sky. He made a name for himself throughout Monster Avenue. By chance, he rescued Guozi from the claws of a beast. Since then, the two have become companions. To keep Sun Wukong from a life of slaughter, Guozi brings him the food he loves best. Thus, their journey together began. Along the way, many demons tried to make a meal out of Guozi. None were spared. The mountain's wrath is something these demons cannot withstand. Of course, there were some truly powerful masters among them, but they were just one more corpse in his wake. Soon, news of the mountain demons' deeds reached the big bosses. None of them are weak, so they could not just sit still, which led to this battle between the monkey and the giants. Sun Wukong had 2 huge holes in his chest, yet he did not even flinch. The many-eyed demoness intended to drain his power, but his next move stunned her. With a sharp metallic ring, Sun Wukong instantly countered with an eye-piercing move, an eye-piercing move, an eye-piercing move. The blinded demoness could no longer touch him. In mere moments, her massive body was torn to shreds. This display left the other demons trembling in fear. Sun Wukong's body, recently pierced with 2 holes, was now consumed by an intense, overwhelming hunger. Just as he was about to devour the demon to restore his energy, Guozi called out to him. Hearing that, Sun Wukong had no choice but to let it slide, venting all his frustration on the demon instead. Wukong gave a slight flick of his hands, tossing the demon 1,000 meters away. Sensing his chance, the 1,000-year corpse emperor seized the moment, planning to kick a man when he is down. That corpse emperor is no pushover, having merged his essence with the dark energy of the underworld long ago. With a wave of his hand, countless specters from the underworld swept toward Wukong like a storm. In an instant, Wukong was swallowed by the dark void. The emperor pressed his advantage, lunging at Wukong. Wukong did not flinch, letting out a roar that shook the mountains. But just as he was about to counterattack, a strange sensation caught his attention. His hand, which had touched the dark energy, had begun to wither. He realized too late he had fallen into a bottomless abyss. Can't struggle anymore, can you? Prepare to meet your end, monkey. Wukong let out a deep breath. This spectral energy is damp and cold enough to catch a chill. Time to light a fire and chase away the frost. Ghost fire, burn away. As Wukong chanted the incantation, roaring flames instantly incinerated the dark energy. Then Wukong pushed off with all his might, launching himself like a cannonball at the corpse emperor. With a crisp crack, the emperor's skull was smashed in. Just as Wukong was about to finish him off, a giant hand appeared and pinned him in mid-air. "Arrogant monkey, I shall eradicate you myself today." They say it is better to face a starving wolf than a mountain spirit. That shows just how terrifying they truly are, let alone one that has fully awakened its essence. Even among the demon hordes, he is the king of the elite. Seeing the corpse emperor bested, Wang Mei immediately joined the fray. "As the alliance leader of the Dark Soul Path, I will not tolerate your insolence." Wukong looked on unfazed as if none of this concerned him. This infuriated Wang Mei to no end. He opened his mouth wide and swallowed Wukong whole, intending to digest him with his powerful stomach acid. Just as he was gloating, a voice came from inside his belly. "It is suffocating in here. I am going to punch my way out." No sooner said than done. A series of metallic clangs echoed from Wang Mei's stomach. "Idiot, my demonic skin is immune to bludgeoning." "Really? Let me test that." "Hey now, that is quite resilient indeed." Seeing Wukong continue his mischief, Wang Mei cranked up his digestive power, but what answered him was an even fiercer attack. Suddenly, Wang Mei's belly ballooned like an overfilled beach ball. Holding his mouth shut, he let out agonizing groans. A second later, two giant hands burst from his mouth. Then a mountain-like spirit crawled out. The spirit grabbed Wang Mei by his wretched remains with a firm grip. With another wave of his hand, he tossed Wang Mei 100 meters away. Wang Mei really botched this mission. Not only did he fail to eat the monkey, but he also got himself wrecked. Just then, a giant foot in the sky caught Wukong's attention. It was the nine-tailed demon fox. The two did not waste time on pleasantries. She went straight for her ultimate move. After all, she had already seen how dangerous Wukong was. Normal attacks would clearly not deal a scratch. The fox's nine tails shifted like giant artillery mounts. Frightening arcs of electricity crackled continuously. As colossal energy converged between the blossoms, the nine-tailed fox finished charging her attack. Her nine tails unleashed beams of light as thick as water barrels. Facing the storm of attacks, Wukong remained as calm as could be, as if to tell the world, this is nothing more than a mosquito bite. Watching the nine-tailed fox grow more aggressive, Wukong finally lost his temper. He unleashed a roar that thundered through the clouds. As he clenched his fists, a spray of flames like molten lava erupted forth. The moment the two powers collided, the nine-tailed fox felt a terrifying pressure. As Wukong unleashed his full firepower, a shockwave blasted outwards, and in an instant, the nine-tailed fox was sent flying like a kite with a broken string. Just as she stood there in complete disbelief, a massive hand clamped down tightly on his tail. You can guess what happened next. A brutal force slammed her straight into the ground. As Sun Wukong caught his breath, a giant wild bull loomed over him. Without a pause, the bull went completely berserk, charging straight through Sun Wukong. A moment later, the bull tossed its head, flinging Sun Wukong several meters away. Do you know who is stronger, the Bull Demon King or the Great Sage equal to heaven? The Bull Demon is of the ancient Wild Bull clan, possessing raw, infinite strength, whereas the Great Sage is born with a divine body, immune to blades, capable of leveling mountains. Both of them possess the most pure and destructive power in this world. The moment they clashed, neither showed any sign of yielding. The relentless waves of combat did not tire Sun Wukong out. Instead, it ignited his primitive wild nature, making him fiercer with every strike. Meanwhile, the giant demon outside the fray was creeping toward the small house where Guozi hid. He pounded frantically on the roof, as if venting all his previous injuries onto her. Just as he was about to succeed, Wang Mei stopped him. "Kid, do not do that. You can't eat the humans inside. Harming her rashly will only make that mountain demon more troublesome. You getting me?" No sooner had he finished speaking than Wang Mei hatched a cunning plan. With a quick flick of his hand, he spat out a spirit blood pill. This pill could lure every low-level demon within 3 miles. And to Sun Wukong, who was in the heat of battle, he did not notice the massive scheme unfolding against him. At this moment, the bull demon loomed with the air of a battle god incarnate, launching relentless, rain-like attacks, forcing Sun Wukong onto the defensive for a while. But the tide turned in an instant. Sun Wukong unleashed a wicked grin and stopped hiding his true strength. His earlier defensive stance had only been a way to find a flaw in the bull demon. Just as he prepared a final, finishing blow, countless maggot-like creatures burst from the ground. Caught off guard, Sun Wukong fell into a moment of confusion, but he adjusted his stance quickly. He looked like a world-ending demon god, unleashing a killing frenzy on these small fry. Seeing this, the bull demon retreated to the side, waiting to see what would happen next. "Wang Mei, you summoned these carrion-eating bugs, right? Their demonic power is so weak, they are nothing compared to Wukong. What exactly are you trying to do?" Hearing this, Wang Mei merely gave a sinister smile, then revealed his intentions to everyone. He wanted to use these low-level demons as bait, to lure Wukong into the Dark Soul Path. Just as Wukong was getting into the swing of things, a voice suddenly made him stop his assault. "Wukong, congratulations. You have proven your strength to us. I now approve of you standing your ground on Monster Avenue. Hearing this, Sun Wukong looked utterly disdainful. Who asked for your approval? Seeing that Sun Wukong remained unmoved, Wang Mei intensified his efforts. I can see you are strong and won't bow down to anyone. But given your power, the heavens are the only real battlefield for you. You should make the gods on high fear you, those who look down on the mortal realm from above. Wang Mei's voice was highly seductive, shaking the resolve of the usually stoic Wukong. All this time, he had been suppressing his inner wildness. For the sake of so-called kindness, he had gone through so many battles and was starving. But at critical moments, Guozi would always step in to stop him. Finally, goaded by Wang Mei, Wukong fell into the trap, and Guozi's attempt to stop him again became the straw that broke the camel's back. With a heaven-shaking roar, he assumed his true demonic form and began a feeding frenzy. These meals did not make him feel full. Instead, they only made him hungrier. After his feast, he left this place with the small cabin. Just as he turned into the dark soul path, his hunger was unbearable. He was heading to the Middle-earth human world to go on a rampage and find more. Do you know who is stronger, the Buddha or the great sage equal to heaven? The Buddha is the master of heaven. His power is boundless and his wisdom vast. Wukong, however, was born from a singular stone after the creation of the world, daily absorbing the essence of heaven and earth. He attained an immortal golden body. But because Wukong's carnage was so severe, the Buddha himself had to intervene to deal with him. And just now, because of Wang Mei's words, Wukong fell into the dark soul path, tasting blood for the very first time. Let him be consumed by his own obsession, unable to break free. Driven by insatiable hunger, Sun Wukong arrived at a human city. Every human who appeared in his sight was doomed. They all became mere fuel for his hunger, and the once glorious city was reduced to ruins in an instant. Seeing Sun Wukong blinded by bloodlust, Guozi disregarded her own safety and leapt down from the building. Just as Sun Wukong was about to devour the last remaining soul, Guozi stepped directly in his path, shouting at him to stop. Under Guozi's relentless pleading, a glimmer of sanity returned to Sun Wukong. It seemed to be working. Guozi immediately took out a banana and offered it to him. But having tasted the ferocity of flesh and blood, the banana tasted like dry wax, absolutely flavorless to him. Now nothing but blood and flesh could satisfy his cravings. I cannot watch you do such cruel things. If you must satisfy your hunger with humans, then eat me instead. Perhaps moved by her words, a soft spot stirred within the monkey. His expression gradually calmed. He then reached out and pulled Guozi into his arms. To break free from the hold of the dark soul path, Sun Wukong begged Guozi to kill him. But as a holy maiden, how could she commit such an act? Just as the two were locked in a moment of distress, a booming divine voice interrupted them from above. Countless pillars of intense light began striking the earth. Recognizing the carnage, Guozi knew the gods had arrived. She immediately urged Sun Wukong to leave at once. Hearing this, Sun Wukong slapped her away in a fit of rage, intending to face the consequences alone. Suddenly, the largest pillar of light in the sky seemed to herald a terrifying presence. A second later, the golden light dispersed, revealing a massive Buddha draped in golden radiance. So you are the beast that caused this catastrophe. Sun Wukong glared at him, defiantly demanding to know what he was. I am Rulai of the heavenly realm. I rarely deal with mundane monsters, but this tragic sight has filled me with righteous fury. Monster, you have become too arrogant. How many have you eaten? Countless hundreds, thousands perhaps. The more I eat, the hungrier I get. A real pain, is not it? Do you feel even a shred of remorse? Speak. Seeing that Sun Wukong showed him no respect at all, Rulai prepared to strike down the insolent beast. But before he could even react, Sun Wukong lunged forward in a flash of speed. With a fierce punch, he shattered Rulai's head into nothingness. If I call your name, dare you respond? Only those born in the 90s would get that reference, right? Standing before him is the seventh master of the Gourd brothers, the legendary hardened Gourd sprite. To kill Sun Wukong, he was prepared to sacrifice his life to unleash the forbidden curse. However, given Sun Wukong's sheer power, he was essentially throwing his life away for nothing. Just after Sun Wukong smashed Rulai's head, a figure stepped out from the remains. It turned out that Buddha was merely a physical manifestation. With his avatar destroyed, Rulai was furious to the core. He punched hard, landing squarely on Sun Wukong's abs. A second punch followed, which Sun Wukong barely managed to dodge. Rulai's strength was undeniable, and with a thunderous kick, he sent Sun Wukong flying like a cannonball into the distance. Guozi watched, her heart pounding with terror. But fortunately, Sun Wukong was unharmed. Rulai's presence dominated the battlefield. For a moment, all was silent between heaven and earth, as if everything had been cowed by his immense power. And as one of the strongest warriors in the monster realm, Sun Wukong was shaken, but his status remained unchanged. Just as he prepared to strike back, celestial chains suddenly emerged to bind his body. With a powerful yank from the attacker, Sun Wukong was flung hundreds of meters. Stunned, Sun Wukong tried to retaliate, but a swarm of more chains came flying at him. In a blink, All his limbs were securely restrained. The figures before him were none other than the arhats of the heavenly realm. As they debated on how to dispose of Sun Wukong, another figure floats down from the sky. It is none other than Sha Luohun of the heavenly realm. To deal with such a lowly demon, why trouble you to take action, honored one? With a wave of his hand, his gourd flies into the air. As his incantations reach their end, the gourd instantly transforms into a mountain-sized Vajra. Just as he gathers strength to finish off Wukong, the next second, Guozi rushes out to shield him. Seeing a human begging for the life of a demon, the arhats are puzzled, fearing they are accomplices. They confer briefly and decide to kill Guozi as well. Unable to move at this moment, Wukong can only anxiously urge Guozi to leave quickly, but it is too late. The arhat ignores Rulai's intervention and launches a cataclysmic attack directly at the pair. In an instant, Guozi is blasted to pieces. After committing this act, the arhat mockingly offers a prayer. As the smoke clears, Wukong struggles to crawl from the wreckage. Looking around, he realizes Guozi has vanished from the world. Boundless rage causes him to lose his reason. He swears to make everyone present pay with their lives alongside Guozi. Seeing the monkey is still alive, the arhat deals him a fatal blow. With that, he recalls his magical artifact. Rulai then asks the question on his mind. Why not disperse your power and retrieve the gourd? There was no need to sacrifice that girl. Hearing this, Sha Luohun replies that killing the monkey is well worth the price of one human life. No sooner said than the arhats prepare to depart. But the next moment, a shocking sight greets them. Wukong has appeared behind them in the blink of an eye. You are all going to die today. Do you know how terrifying a dying mountain demon can be? Before it, the gods of heaven are but fragile, broken twigs. The mountain demon believes Guozi died to save him, and so his fury makes him lose his mind. His true power erupts. Even with only his upper body remaining, his hatred makes him uncontrollably powerful. Rulai watches the scene unfold, his heart trembling with fear. Amidst their desperate wailing, the arhats are one by one devoured by the mountain demon. Seeing the situation spiraling out of control, Rulai dares not hesitate and joins the fray. Yet at the same time, a figure drags themselves out of the wreckage. It turns out Guozi is not dead. Just as they try to stop the monkey from continuing his frantic fight, a massive shockwave forces them back. The mountain demon's fierce assault actually puts Rulai on the defensive for a moment. All the demon wants now is to avenge Guozi. Every strike has become erratic and wild. Rulai dodges continuously, just waiting for the right opening. He knows his own state is far from perfect, so he plans to end this quickly. Rulai spots the chance and leaps into the air, unleashing his ultimate technique. The brilliant golden light blinds the mountain demon. As Rulai completes his incantation, a terrifying giant fist strikes directly at the mountain. The moment they collide, the demon is far from losing, until upon seeing a certain person, his focus slips. Guozi's appearance gives him no reason to keep fighting. After a thunderous boom, his body is battered beyond recognition. The constant drain of energy can no longer sustain his mountain demon form. Yet he does not care in the slightest, because knowing Guozi is alive is enough for him. And at this moment, Guozi has absolutely no idea how grave the situation is, urging Wukong to heal his wounds and escape here. I cannot. My demonic energy is completely spent. I cannot heal. These wounds are too deep. Hearing this, Guozi does not believe him, loudly urging Wukong to hurry and stop acting. I am serious. I am dying. Hearing this, Guozi finally believes that the monkey is really leaving her. How hateful. I originally wanted to watch you grow old. I never thought our bond would be exhausted so soon. At this point, Rulai's arrival interrupts the two. From Rulai, they learn that death is not the end of everything. All living beings enter the cycle of reincarnation to wash away all sins. Purified of all dust and impurity, a brand new you will return to this world. Looks like the next life will be quite a blast. Do you even know what I am going to become? Upon hearing this, Lai shook his head to show he had no clue. Guozi, maybe we will meet again, but by then you might not recognize me. No way. I will definitely know it is you. I was too dense in this life. I hope to be a bit sharper in the next. Next time, it would be better if I am just a monkey again. I like being this way. As soon as he finished speaking, the monkey's body began to crumble into pieces. The sky filled with debris mixed with Wukong's unspoken feelings for Guozi. Guozi, take care of yourself. You have to live a long, healthy life, you hear. Scene shift. A group of children is gathered around an old woman listening to a story. And this old woman is the Guozi from all those years ago. Just like that, 60 years have passed. Every single day, she reminisces about the past, because those were the happiest moments of her life. At this moment, she knows her time is running out. It seems she won't be seeing the reincarnated Wukong after all. Suddenly, a group of children points excitedly at the sky. Shooting stars are streaking across the horizon. It is just like that scene, the first time Wukong descended into this world. Seeing this, Guozi stands up immediately. She mutters, I won't misremember this sight. It is exactly the same as back then. Do you know how brutal the rivalries between monkey tribes are? They usually start a war over a mere hillside. They will go all out to wipe out an entire clan. Just now, the shooting stars kept crashing down from the sky. Guozi knew Wukong had returned, so she dragged her aged body toward the ape territory. But for the apes, the arrival of humans is always alarming. Perhaps because of the meteor shower, the monkeys have become very agitated. Suddenly, a giant rock catches Guozi's attention. Just as she wonders why this rock looks like the one from before, a fist smashes through the stone instantly. With a thunderous crash, a small monkey appears before the crowd. Do I even need to say who this is? After 60 years, Wukong is back. Among the falling rubble lie fragments of his memories from the last life. He waves his hand, stuffing those fragments into his mouth one after another. But the memory bubbles dissipate too quickly before he could finish them all. The rest of them just vanished into thin air. Wukong realizes that without his armor, he feels a bit underdressed. So, with a quick tap to his chest, his signature battle garb appears. That is when he notices Guozi standing to the side. He can't help but question who she is. In a daze, Guozi feels as if she has returned to her youth. She slowly tells Wukong the story of herself and the mountain spirit. However, Wukong has not absorbed that memory, so he is still a bit confused. He only feels that Guozi is someone very dear to him. At that moment, the roar of the apes interrupts their conversation. They are screeching and ready to chase the two of them off their land. But Wukong's fiery temper has not changed. He immediately shouts right back. Seeing this, the monkey pack gets even angrier. They start picking up rocks and hurling them at the two, with a flurry of thuds playing out. Wukong can no longer suppress his short temper, just as he is about to teach these white apes a lesson. Suddenly, a rock strikes the back of his head. Following that, he seems to lose consciousness and passes out cold. Seeing this, the monkeys immediately surround them, intending to tear Wukong apart. Just in the nick of time, an angry roar stops these little monkeys in their tracks. It is none other than the leader of the white-haired macaques. Don't act recklessly. We white macaques do not kill other monkeys without cause. As soon as he finishes speaking, he steps forward, intending to figure out the situation first. He first picks Wukong up and examines him closely. Then, he tosses him to a group of young monkeys to watch over. The whole troop swarms around and drags Wukong and Guozi back to their territory. But just as they return, a strange scene unfolds. Countless apes start falling down from the trees. Just as the white macaque boss is feeling puzzled, a sinister voice pulls his attention back. I have heard that the monkey tribe is quite famous on this mountain. But honestly, you really disappoint me. With your strength, you do not even deserve to survive on Monster Avenue. You are just too weak. No sooner had he spoken than he leapt down. The intruder is none other than a red-buttocked macaque. This monkey is born with a violent temper and is a natural-born killer. And before arriving here, he had already slaughtered many of your kind. Even though the white macaques never liked to fight, they still could not escape the fate of being wiped out by him. As the red-buttocked macaque gives his order, the black-backed monkeys under him shoot out like arrows from a bow. Even though they prefer peace, there is no doubt about how immensely powerful they are. The boss's punches struck with the force of cannonballs. The horde of black-backed monkeys was scattered by his sudden charge. Just as he was feeling triumphant, the red-buttocked macaque suddenly joined the fray. A single knee strike sent him flying several meters back. Do you have any idea how terrifying a monster in human form can be? Though he was a boss among their own simian kin, he found himself completely outmatched by the red-buttocked macaque. Meanwhile, as Sun Wukong lost consciousness, his spirit entered a realm of chaos. Being the restless soul he is, he chased after a flicker of flame. That flame was no ordinary flicker. It was the flame of wisdom, which holds the secrets of all things in the world. From it, Sun Wukong learned of his past and his future. The karma of the past would not vanish with his death. It would simply find a new way to catch up with him. With those words, the flame of wisdom dissolved into the void. Back on the battlefield, the fight was nearing its end. Perhaps he was finally bored. He decided it was time to end this dull skirmish. As he unleashed his ultimate move, the monkey boss was torn to pieces in an instant. Just then, the black-backed monkey spotted Guozi. Just as Guozi was about to meet her end, Sun Wukong suddenly opened his eyes. In the next second, he death-gripped the monkey's blade. I just woke up and there is already a brawl. Looks like a good time. No sooner had he spoken than he tossed the monkey aside. You are all too weak. I am not even remotely entertained. Seeing their brother being bullied, the black-backed monkeys moved to teach Sun Wukong a lesson. But the next moment, they witnessed something shocking. The blade shattered into pieces the moment it touched Sun Wukong. Even the most vulnerable parts of his body had become impenetrable to any weapon. Seeing this, the black-backed monkeys finally realized the gap between them. With a light flick of Sun Wukong's finger, a monkey went flying miles into the sky. Seeing that Sun Wukong was all right, Guozi told him everything that had happened while he was asleep. Having just awakened, Sun Wukong did not have a clear sense of morality, but he felt a deep connection with Guozi. Looking at the carnage across the field, Sun Wukong felt a stir in his heart. He decided to follow Guozi's wishes and intervene. Meanwhile, the battle intensified. Xiao Lu lost his mind after witnessing his father's gruesome death. His seemingly ferocious attacks were full of openings. The red-buttocked macaque seized the moment to press his attack. With a single vicious stomp from the red-buttocked macaque, Xiao Lu was smashed into the ground like a cannonball. By now, the red-buttocked macaque was blinded by bloodlust. Just as he was about to deliver the killing blow, an uninvited guest appeared on the battlefield. At the most critical moment, Sun Wukong stepped in to block the fatal strike for Xiao Lu, but this act infuriated the red-buttocked macaque. He exerted more force, intent on stomping Sun Wukong to death as well. Under the immense pressure, Sun Wukong's rage flared. Soon, a terrifying spectral image of a monkey loomed over him. A second later, a massive surge of power blasted the red-buttocked macaque away. The monkeys on the field watched in utter shock. The red-buttocked macaque turned serious and demanded to know who Sun Wukong was. "I am the great sage of the Stone Monkey clan, the rightful king of the monkeys. I am taking these little ones under my protection. Move or die." Guozi watched this unfold with tears in her eyes, because back on the mountain, he had that same fearless, unyielding spirit. Sun Wukong's strength earned the approval of all the other monkeys. Cries of "Great King" echoed throughout the valley. Just like that, Sun Wukong had his new army in place. Seeing this, Sun Wukong thumped his chest, signaling that he would handle the rest. The red-buttocked macaque approached him now, mocking him with a sneer. "Do you even know what kind of entity you have provoked? You do not even recognize me, the red-buttocked macaque, in these mountains. Today, I will personally teach you who I am." Sun Wukong replied with a wicked grin. "The only thing I fear is a boring fight. Why do not we put that to the test?" No sooner said than they erupted into a fierce battle. The shockwaves were so powerful that everyone standing a kilometer away could barely stay on their feet. "Little monkey, I am going to tear you to pieces." At the dawn of the ancient world, many strange and rare beasts were born, but these two monkeys are worth a special mention. They are the red-buttock monkey and the long-armed ape. The red-buttock knows the ways of life and death, mastering the shift between yin and yang. The long-armed can grasp the sun and moon, shortening mountains and spanning heaven and earth. These two monkeys have been inseparable since the day they were born, and now, they are notorious figures here on Monster Avenue. Just a moment ago, Monkey Brother was trying to protect the innocent and defenseless, so he picked a fight with the red-buttock monkey. Just as their battle reached its peak, a sudden appearance of a toad interrupted their assault. This toad is but an avatar of the great Buddha Wangmei. He came here with the sole purpose of calling red-buttock off, because their grand plan has already been set in motion. It is not wise to waste any more time here. Upon hearing this, red-buttock gestured and gave the signal to retreat. Before he left, he dropped a message for everyone. "The tribes below have been razed and the people captured. If you do not fear death, and you wish to save the people of the fallen tribes, come and find me at my base." With those words, he vaulted away, vanishing into the forest. Once Guozi heard this news, she immediately wanted to take Monkey Brother to check on the village. Before them lay a scene of carnage, severed limbs scattered everywhere. That was when Guozi found a survivor holding on to the last thread of life. From his dying breaths, they learned that it was the high priest of the Qin tribe who led the raid. Hearing this, Guozi turned pale with shock, because they were a tribe that worshipped a dark god. Every year, they capture people from other tribes as sacrifices. By now, Monkey Brother realized the earlier motives of the red-buttock monkey, so he planned to leave immediately, before things took a turn for the worse. At that same time, above an ancient tree, bodies were already strung up. Finished with the deed, the high priest called out to the sky, "O great dark god, I have brought you offerings. Please grant our tribe everlasting prosperity." As soon as he spoke, a chaotic noise erupted in the air. In the next second, a pack of black-backed monkeys swarmed out, and the long-armed ape was among them. Standing firm, the long-armed asked the question burning in his mind, "But the amount you sacrificed always exceeds our quota." Hearing this, the high priest immediately prostrated himself on the ground. "The panic is strictly to please you, my lord. That is why we work so hard." Seeing the feast was ready, Red-Buttock spoke up from the side. He wiped his mouth as he spoke, acting as if he could no longer curb his hunger. The moment the long-armed ape gave the command to dig in, the entire troop of monkeys rushed forward as one, in fear that they would be too late to grab a bite. At that moment, the wails of the humans echoed through the entire valley, just as they thought their lives were going to end here. The very next second, a strange scene unfolded. The ropes binding the humans were loosened in an instant. Just as they were in doubt, the high priest gestured for everyone to look up. A single black-backed monkey appeared, binding all of his own kind at some unknown moment, with a swipe of his hand before his eyes. The next second, a cloud of smoke dissipated. The visitor was none other than White Xiaolu of the White Ape Clan, and our best master of the wild, Monkey Brother. Upon seeing the intruders, both sides instantly took their battle stances. A massive battle was about to erupt on the spot. Can you guess which of the four great spiritual monkeys is stronger or weaker? Every type of spiritual monkey on Monster Avenue has a special ability. That is the Great Ape Soul form, a primal beast-like power. This form is not only impenetrable by blades, but also boosts strength 100-fold. Earlier, when Monkey Brother was trying to save the villagers, he struck the base of the Red Buttock brothers. Without a word, they brawled the moment they met. Red Buttock's fighting style was fierce and overbearing. Monkey Brother, still inexperienced, could not get the upper hand. His lack of combat experience left him suppressed everywhere. That was when Red Buttock seized the moment to land a vicious punch. The massive shockwave sent Monkey Brother's body scattering, but it was not over yet. Following Red Buttock's flurry of strikes, Monkey Brother's body was instantly shattered to pieces. Pressing his advantage with a roar, Red Buttock blew Monkey Brother's stone head away. Just when he was smugly thinking it was all over, a chill suddenly ran down his knee in the next second. Monkey Brother stood with his palms together, his battle intent fully unleashed. As his hands applied just a little force, Red Buttock was taught a lesson in pain. It turns out, before arriving here, Monkey Brother had recognized that Xiaolu's primate techniques were formidable. After pestering them enough, I finally learned this move, and it really came in handy during the fight just now. Qihang caught his breath, his face chilling. He began condensing a fierce blood-red blaze. In a heartbeat, he unleashed his true form, the Great Ape Soul. Seeing this, Sun Wukong's heart skipped a beat. It felt as if a wild beast were clawing its way out from within him. Just as Qihang was about to strike again, Sun Wukong called out to stop him. "May I ask, what exactly is the Great Ape Soul? Can it be undone?" Hearing this, Qihang replied excitedly, "The Great Ape Soul is our monkey kind's most savage battle form. So, it is basically a transformation. No, it is far more than that. It is the ultimate manifestation of our demonic aura. You channel the demonic energy within, pushing it to a breaking point. Get it?" Qihang's explanation left Sun Wukong completely dazed. Just as he was about to elaborate further, the long-armed ape stopped him in his tracks. "Are you two going to keep on talking?" Qihang realized he had rambled on a bit too much, and immediately refocused his state. In his transformed state, Qihang's power was immense. Within seconds, he had Sun Wukong gasping for air. The way to use the Great Ape Soul that Qihang just explained kept flashing through his mind. Just as Qihang prepared to deliver a fatal blow, a dark mist suddenly surged around Sun Wukong. In a flash, a giant hand firmly seized Qihang. Sun Wukong had successfully unlocked his Great Ape form. Seeing this, Qihang grew excited. This was the opponent he had been looking for. No flashy moves, just pure, raw power. But Sun Wukong's strength surpassed his own. He crushed those steel-like fists into smithereens. A follow-up explosive elbow blast sent Qihang reeling. A heaven-shaking aura erupted from Sun Wukong. At that moment, the very heavens and earth seemed to pale in comparison. Seeing this, Qihang stopped holding back and unleashed his ultimate move. Thorn-like iron fists instantly bound Sun Wukong. In pain, Sun Wukong roared in fury. With a powerful heave, he sent Qihang flying. He followed up with a ferocious stomp. Gathering all his might, he delivered one final blow. That punch sent Qihang spitting blood instantly. His sheer power annihilated everything in the surroundings. Everyone watching was struck with sheer terror. Qihang was blasted back to his original form by that massive force. Having exhausted all his energy, Sun Wukong could no longer maintain his Great Ape form. But before he could even land and catch his breath, a flurry of shadowy staff strikes sent him flying several meters back. "Now, it is my turn to be your opponent. Do you know which of the 4 ancient divine monkeys is stronger?" The Lingming Stone Monkey is the best among the 4. But now, he was being relentlessly beaten by the long-armed ape. The long-armed ape's 10-direction wind lightning staff is an ancient divine artifact. Forged from 24K pure copper, its power is truly terrifying. Every swing feels like a pillar supporting the heavens, loud and mighty. Because the Lingming Stone Monkey had just achieved his physical form, he could not even unleash a fraction of his usual power. Meanwhile, the defeated Qihang regained his senses. He, who had never known defeat since birth, had actually been beaten by another monkey. The result left him seething with rage. Just as he was about to reclaim his honor, a voice stopped him in his tracks. It was none other than the great Buddha Wangmei. The reason he did not let Qihang strike was because he wanted to see who was the strongest monkey. Because only the strongest monkey will be the most delicious. Under the long-armed ape's fierce barrage, Lingming slowly could not fight back. The barrage of staff shadows left Lingming in agony. But it was not over yet. The long-armed ape's techniques seemed to have zero cooldown. The ever-stubborn Sun Wukong was battered and bruised, but still acting tough. "Stop laughing, old man. I have taken a few thousand of your hits, and I am still in one piece. Looks like you can't really hurt me." No sooner had he spoken, Sun Wukong attempted a counterattack. But no matter how hard he tried, his demonic aura would not surface. Seeing this, the long-armed ape revealed the reason. "I have used my flowing ape staff technique to seal all your energy portals. You are completely unable to recover your aura now. Once your remaining energy burns out, your defeat is inevitable. Still refusing to yield, Sun Wukong frantically tried to circulate his demonic power. Let me try to break these shackles with raw strength. But these invisible chains are clearly not that simple. Without waiting for Sun Wukong to react, Donghua was already planning to end this boring fight. He swung his nunchucks fiercely toward the sky. The next second, an intense light erupted in the air, followed by a massive W-imbued staff, standing right before Sun Wukong. The staff struck with lightning speed, sending Sun Wukong crashing down. After one hit, Sun Wukong could finally take no more. He had barely come back to life before he was dragged away. Seeing this, Bai Xiaoliu immediately stepped in to help. But Kai Reng blocked his path. With a single explosive punch from Kai Vang, Bai Xiaoliu was instantly incapacitated. All your struggles are futile. Prepare to face your doom. Watching Sun Wukong knocked down, Donghua felt a wave of sentiment. Just as he was about to say something, he was interrupted by a thick, ominous aura. Seeing this, everyone could not help but shudder. It seems a fearsome great demon has arrived. As the aura dissipated, Wang Mei's figure emerged in the center of the battlefield. It turns out Kai Fang and his brother had been adopted by Wang Mei since childhood, to repay his kindness of raising them. The two had always been searching for powerful monkey kind for him, but what they did not know was that Wang Mei sent them to hunt powerful monkeys, solely to satisfy his own gluttonous hunger. Seeing the scene before him, Donghua felt uneasy, but there was not much he could say. Watching Sun Wukong collapsed on the ground, Wang Mei could not help but reveal a maternal-like smile. He lifted him up with a wave of his hand to examine him closely. After gazing for a while, Wang Mei could finally resist no longer, tossing Sun Wukong into his mouth to savor the feast. But he forgot that 60 years ago, he was bested exactly like this. I have seen firsthand through him what it means to be shameless. Old Master Wang Mei is the ruler of the Dark Soul Path. His lifelong hobby is nothing but eating monkeys. Seeing the Lingming stone monkey being devoured alive, Bai Xiaoliu immediately went to support, but the gap in their power was just too immense. With one slap, Wang Mei left Bai Xiaoliu unable to recover. After finishing this, Wang Mei took a deep breath, intending to crush Lingming with immense pressure. But before he could celebrate for a moment, an iron staff slammed viciously into his chest. It was his own foster son, Donghua the flying ape. The way you eat monkeys truly makes me sick. I will never let you eat this stone monkey. As he spoke, he intensified his stance. At that moment, Kai Vang seized the opportunity to strike from behind. You greedy old monster, the monkey is not your food. Just like that, through their fierce combined attack, Lingming was successfully rescued. Wang Mei was caught off guard, feeling a bit stunned, unclear about what had just happened. His tone then darkened. You two want to rebel. Hearing this, the two did not waste words and prepared to attack again, because they knew that when Wang Mei was eating, there would only be one chance. Fail and he would be free to strike back. They had waited for this day for far too long. They immediately lunged in, pinning him down with iron-toothed arms. Seeing this, Donghua threw his sacred staff into the sky. My parents, my kin, and all the other monkeys you have eaten. Now you shall suffer their wrath. No sooner had he finished speaking than he transformed into his strongest form, the great ape. With one swing, he smashed Wang Mei's head in. Wang Mei was terrified now, and hurriedly begged for mercy, recalling the beautiful times they had once spent together. But if he had not spoken, it might have been better. His words only fueled Donghua's rage. As it turns out, back when they were young, Wang Mei wanted to nurture a loyal right-hand man. So he picked through the monkey tribe. Those who were weak were all devoured by him. Donghua the flying ape was the sole survivor. He had witnessed with his own eyes his loved ones, one by one, being eaten by Wang Mei. And to better control Donghua, Wang Mei had stolen half of his soul. From then on, he became Wang Mei's prisoner. Kai Fang had suffered the same fate. Later, as the two grew stronger, the spirit of rebellion burned ever brighter. They swore that one day they would surely avenge this blood feud. Even if it meant death, they would drag Wang Mei down with them to hell. The suffering of their people and the tragic deaths of their kind have become their. Every night as they sleep, these tragedies flash before their eyes. Until today, the moment they have been waiting for has finally arrived. Rage and hatred have made them stronger than ever before. With their fierce onslaught, Wang Mei was beaten to a pulp. But is it really that simple? Under the incredulous gazes of everyone, Donghua ape transformed back to his true form, and Chifeng's long-suppressed emotions were finally unleashed. Just as Chifeng was thinking about how to celebrate, the next second, a crisp sound caught everyone's attention. Looking again, only to see Chifeng's arms had vanished. On Monster Avenue, there exists a dark art called Spirit Puppet. This vile art requires half of the victim's soul as a medium. Once the spell is cast, the life and death of the target depend entirely on this straw effigy. Just as Chifeng thought everything was over, in the next heartbeat, his arms just flew away. At that moment, he realized their assassination had failed. Donghua, we were so close to winning, right? At that moment, the old Buddha's voice drifted from the mist nearby. Monkeys are just too clever. I knew you two would bite me sooner sooner or later. So you see, there are some things I must keep within reach at all times. As he spoke, he produced the straw doll imbued with their souls. His fingers were already pinching the doll's arms. And this is the straw doll that controls Chifeng. Lingming, watching from outside the fray, had learned the whole story from Xiaoliu. But he had not planned to intervene, deciding to sit back and watch how things played out. Then Wang Mei began to taunt the two, mocking their futile efforts and their schemes. With that, he tightened his grip on the straw doll. Seeing this, Tongbi felt a strange sense of relief. After all, they had tried together. There are no regrets. Chifeng, thank you. You were like a brother to me. I hope in the next life we can be brothers again. I will go ahead. As Wang Mei squeezed his hand hard, an irresistible force exploded within Tongbi's body. In an instant, he collapsed into a pool of blood, drawing his last breath. This sight was agonizing for the other stone monkeys to witness. Wang Mei stepped forward and sneered. Come, crawl to my feet. Beg your daddy to let you live. Wang Mei, are you capable of that? Of course. After all, you were my beloved child. We could go back to how things were. Hearing this, Tongbi did not reply. He just struggled to crawl back up. Then with all his might, he grabbed a rock and hurled it directly at Wang Mei's scowl. With a soft thud, Wang Mei immediately radiated a terrifying, killing intent. He stomped his heavy foot down onto Tongbi's head. You ingrate. You do not know how to appreciate an opportunity. Who do you think you are? Having done that, he turned to shout at the group of monkeys behind him. Look closely, all of you. See what became of Tongbi Ape. This is the price of defying me, Wang Mei. Finishing, he turned his gaze toward Chifeng. He intended to make him bow and apologize, and let this matter slide. But for an answer, he received a fierce headbutt. Seeing clearly that the two were determined not to be on his side, Wang Mei opened his maw, intending to devour Chifeng. At this critical juncture, Lingming delivered a kick that shattered the battlefield. Stubborn Chifeng, even in such a state, still loudly berated Lingming for meddling. But Lingming's next words made his heart skip a beat. Did you forget what I said? I am the star of all monkeys. And that includes you, you idiot. Don't be afraid. Leave this guy to me. Facing the relentless provocations of the others, Wang Mei finally lost his patience. His muscles bulged, expanding 100-fold. A barrage of savage strikes caught Sun Wukong completely off guard. Just as he prepared to counter-attack, a massive hand clamped down on him like a vice. The overwhelming force left him paralyzed. Seeing this, Chifeng grew anxious. He screamed at Sun Wukong not to embarrass their kin. Stop running your mouth when you can't even move a muscle. Just sit back and watch how the master handles this. No sooner had he spoken than Sun Wukong unleashed his demonic aura. A thunderous roar erupted from deep within him, shaking the heavens. Have you ever heard of the 7 fairies who hid a golden toad? That toad was none other than the future lord of the dark soul path, Wang Mei. He had only one dream, to attain Buddhahood. Instead, he was met with the ridicule and mockery of the celestials. All because he was nothing but a lowly toad, dreaming of the impossible. That right there planted the seed of hatred in his heart. Fortunately, a kind-hearted fairy did not shun him. To help him grow, Xiaoyue would bring him divine fruit every single day. And so the days went by, one after another. The toad grew bigger and bigger, but it still was not enough for him. He felt that growing just by eating divine fruit was far too slow. Thus, a sinister thought began to fester in his mind. The idea of consuming a deity. Eventually, he grew impatient. While Xiaoyue was reciting teachings to him, he snapped his jaws shut upon her. In one swift motion, he swallowed her whole. Once done, he shapeshifted into Xiaoyu's image. Yet, something about his appearance was truly grotesque. At that moment, the other fairies thought she had fallen ill. They rushed forward, eager to show their concern. But the next second, a scene they would never forget unfolded. The toad, like a demon from the underworld, began devouring the gathered fairies, one after another. He proved exactly what it meant for a toad to dine on swan meat. His actions surely caught the eye of the deities. Luckily, his gluttonous appetite was just enough to help him escape disaster. With every meal, his power only grew stronger. He rose to become the leader of the Dark Soul Path on Monster Avenue. And that leads us to the clash we see now. Sun Wukong joined the fray to save Chifeng's brothers, but having just been reborn, his strength was not fully restored. That is why he was being pressured at every turn. In the nick of time, Sun Wukong finally snapped. He triggered his great ape form. In the blink of an eye, the two were locked in a desperate battle. As they say, the bold monkey fears no tiger. Fists flying like rain against the old master. Sun Wukong in his great ape form was truly formidable. He had Wang Mei pinned down in an instant. Seeing the momentum shift, Wang Mei pulled a dirty trick. His belly expanded like a balloon. Then he rebounded Sun Wukong's attack. Sun Wukong's sheer might only made Wang Mei more thrilled, because in his eyes, a powerful monkey makes for a better meal. To end the fight quickly, Sun Wukong unleashed the hellfire. Wang Mei was not one to be outdone. With a massive inhale, a gale-force wind swept through the surroundings. Every gust of air for miles around was sucked into his gullet. Just as Sun Wukong became wary, a world-shattering shockwave struck him. The sheer force made him stumble. After all, he is just starting to regain his combat experience. With that deafening boom, Sun Wukong lost the ability to continue the fight. Wang Mei seized the chance and grabbed him by the head. Then came a brutal, merciless beating. He pummeled Sun Wukong back into his base form. But it was not over yet. Living by the principle of kicking someone while they are down, Wang Mei aimed for the killing blow. Just how fierce can a monkey with his golden staff be? 1 second, Sun Wukong was on the defensive. The next, he fought like a god possessed. He had Wang Mei retreating step for step. Sensing disaster, Wang Mei decided not to wait. He unleashed a vicious, calculated kick. Yet it was in vain. Instead, he ended up getting smashed right in the eye by Sun Wukong's staff. Before he could even grieve for his broken demonic vessel, Lingming transformed into his great ape form and attacked again. A violent storm-like assault caught Wang Mei completely off guard. Seeing that standard attacks could not wound Lingming, Wang Mei decided to pull the same old trick again. Taking a deep breath, a powerful shockwave blasted toward Lingming once more, but this time his signature move lost its touch. After all, the weight of the Ruyi Jingu Bang is no joke. It weighs exactly 108,000 catties. Seeing Lingming completely unharmed, Wang Mei was truly terrified. Lingming pointed out, telling him to look at his own big toe. Wang Mei looked down and finally understood. Turns out he had a leak in his defense. That is why the impact was so minor. But before he could process it, Lingming's attack was already right before his eyes. The moment they collided, Wang Mei's body was smashed into pieces. Witnessing this scene, everyone was so shocked they hardly dared to breathe, and this brutal blow sent Wang Mei straight back to his original form. Just as Lingming was about to deliver the final strike, Wang Mei immediately started begging for mercy. "You have already smashed half of my 1,000 years of cultivation. I am in such a sorry state. Do you really still have the heart to kill me?" Wang Mei's pathetic display made Lingming hesitate. Just as Lingming was debating whether to end him, Wang Mei immediately flipped the script and used his demonic charms. It turns out his words just now were laced with dark magic. This is Wang Mei's trademark skill, deluding and manipulating minds with mere talk. These words cling like a curse, causing Lingming to lose himself. But perhaps Wang Mei just talked too much. Lingming grew increasingly agitated. He swung his massive staff and smashed Wang Mei deep into the ground. "Too much bullcrap. I am done listening to it. I will just have to flatten you." As the smoke cleared, Wang Mei's body was only a palm's length small. Just as everyone sighed, thinking it was all over, the nine-tailed fox suddenly made her appearance. At this moment, Wang Mei realized, so that staff was sent by her. "Leader Wang Mei, look who is having a bad day now. We really need to settle our debts. I have been bullied by you for far too long." Knowing he was in the wrong, Wang Mei begged for mercy repeatedly. Who knew the nine-tailed fox would not buy his act at all? A wave of hellfire gradually emerged from all around her. I have to say, this lady does not mess around. As she breathed a gust of fire, Wang Mei's body instantly turned into fine dust, with only one eyeball left, roaring in the air. "I will never forget what you all did to me." After doing all this, the nine-tailed fox stretched lazily. Wang Mei is dead. Starting today, the great chaos among demons is about to begin. After this battle, Lingming became the new boss of the Faiyuan mountain range. Half a year passed, and Guozi settled down and moved away. The two former monkey kings of Faiyuan Mountain, Chifeng and Tongbi, due to heavy injuries, also hid deep in the mountains to cultivate again. From then on, the two monkeys vanished, and following Wang Mei's death, the hordes of demons he controlled began to grow restless too. Monster Avenue entered a new era of chaos. Countless powerful demons began a new war for supremacy. Do you know why the great sage equaling heaven caused havoc in heaven? Because the monsters in the mortal realm were no longer his match. Being invincible can be incredibly lonely. That is why he took his fight to the heavenly court. It is common knowledge that the heavens possess the greatest force in the world, but our Monkey King just did not believe the hype, because he believed that in this vast world, we are all just fighting to survive. If you dare to fight, eventually you will rise to the top. Rulai felt that Lingming was very special, which is why he always wanted to convert him. He hoped that by turning him into a Buddha, he would fight for justice. But unfortunately, Lingming was always a feral wild beast at heart. Finally today, Lingming took his fight to the heavens. After he defeated the many celestial soldiers and generals, Rulai could finally no longer sit still and acted to keep Lingming from any more bloodshed. Rulai unleashed his divine power the moment he arrived. The clash was not as explosive as everyone had expected. It was practically one-sided and absolute beatdown. Confess your sins. Do you really want to die here? You trashy deity want me to submit in your dreams. I am not afraid of anything. If I fall, I will take everyone down with me. I am not afraid of anything. If I fall, I will take everyone down with me. Seeing him so stubborn, Rulai stopped wasting his breath. With one heavy strike, he knocked Lingming unconscious. Seeing the Monkey King subdued, the heavenly warriors prepared to finish him off. But Rulai intervened. He lied, claiming Lingming had already confessed. In truth, he did not want Lingming dead. He believed deep down, Lingming was not truly wicked. In the heavenly palace, the Emperor of Heaven voiced his doubts. Rulai, what motive do you have for sparing the monkey? Upon hearing this, Rulai stepped in to defend him, claiming his actions were merely a moment of reckless impulse. The gods and immortals were far from pleased at that. They began citing Lingming's past atrocities, from broken heads to shattered treasures. Rulai could only bow and apologize for it all. The final verdict was to seal away the monkey, until he truly repents and turns over a new leaf. 10 years passed in a blink. 10 years passed in a blink. Inside a cave on the Five-Finger Mountain, a wild man was found muttering to a tiny insect. Just then, Rulai appeared, carrying a large bag of fruit. This wild man was in fact Lingming. He ate while begging to know when he could leave. He claimed he had truly and sincerely repented. Rulai simply replied that his heart had yet to find peace. Feigned sincerity is useless. I can see the fire in your heart is still burning. Once he heard that, Lingming stopped the act. He started cursing and raging again, even trying to throw punches at Rulai. Unfortunately, he missed completely, and so time slowly drifted by. Rulai never returned again, until one day, 300 years later, Rulai suddenly paid another visit. He saw that Lingming had changed. He seemed as if he did not care about anything anymore, and Rulai noticed this change as well. So he spoke one final thing, the words Lingming had been desperate to hear. It seems you have learned enough. You may leave Five-Finger Mountain now, but you must complete one final task. Go find a man named Tang Sanzeng, and escort him across the land to retrieve the eternal fire. Whoever finds the cat in this picture, let me know. Go on then. You do not want to mess with a monk who sweeps the floors of a temple. That saying did not just come out of nowhere. That saying did not just come out of nowhere. That saying did not just come out of nowhere. That saying did not just come out of nowhere. The one standing before him was a master from the Shaolin Temple, yet he was beaten to a pulp by the sweeping monk. The man before us is someone else entirely. He is indeed Tang Sanzeng, the one whose flesh grants immortality. Years ago, a great fire cost Tang Sanzeng his parents. The agonizing grief kept him from ever closing his eyes. He seemed to have lost his mind completely. He traveled south, enduring ice and snow. After drinking, his body finally gave out, buried beneath frozen dust and vast mountains. When he finally opened his eyes, he found himself inside a temple. He found himself inside a temple. He found himself inside a temple. It turns out this monk had saved him. Upon learning of Tang Sanzang's plight, the monk took him as his disciple. He gave him chores to keep his mind occupied, to keep him from dreaming of his deceased family. Tang Sanzang spent every day reading to numb his pain. 5 years passed in a blink. That day, the abbot gathered everyone in the temple. One disciple must be chosen from among you to journey to the other shore and reclaim the eternal fire. The disciples immediately began debating over-the-top candidates. They spoke of Huan Yi, the brilliant prodigy of the temple. Yes, Huan Yi, the temple's prodigy, and the unflappable Zanzheng, both Zanzheng and Huan Yi, steady as Mount Tai. But before they could finish their discussion, a lady spoke up with her own choice. That person is the temple sweeper, Tang Sanzeng. Amidst the surprised whispers of the crowd, the master explained the reason for his choice. 5 years and you have never really seen eye to eye, have you? It is true, because I truly feel the pain of all living beings. At first, Sanzeng could only see the suffering of his own loved ones. But as time passed, he gradually began to empathize with the struggles of all people, and this is why the master chose him. In order to resolve all of these inner knots, Tang Sanzeng gladly accepted this heavy responsibility. Just like that, bearing the prayer beads given by the master, he set off on the journey to find the eternal fire. However, he had not traveled very far before his path was blocked by 2 uninvited guests. The intruders were none other than Huan Yi and Zanzheng. Unhappy with the master's choice, the 2 had come to settle the score. By age 3, I had already mastered the scriptures. By 6, no elder in the temple could outdebate me. I am recognized as a genius, a prodigy with an immeasurable future. I am recognized as a genius, a prodigy with an immeasurable future. Therefore, such an important task should naturally go to the best. Before he could finish, Tang Sanzeng threw a punch. He just hit him straight on, leaving him rattled. If you claim to be the best, why could not you dodge a single punch? Seeing that he was being looked down upon, Huan Yi immediately unleashed his true technique. Huan Yi immediately unleashed his true technique. As he finished chanting his spell, Several giant wolf spirits appeared out of thin air, but before he could act smug, Tang Sanzeng landed another punch, followed by a second and a third. Only when Huan Yi begged for mercy did he stop. Zanzheng, standing by, was scared out of his wits. He hurriedly signaled that he was just passing through. After this farce, Tang Sanzeng stepped back onto his path. To seek enlightenment from heaven and earth, he shaved his head. In the days that followed, he pondered one question. Why are the gods so powerful? Yet they do not go get the eternal fire themselves. Until one day, a flash of golden light pierced the horizon. A god finally emerged from the golden light. This dragon actually formed an alliance with a pack of rat demons, and led them on a rampage through the human world, leaving nothing but a living hell in their wake. This dragon is Ao Shui, the son of the East Sea Dragon King. He became this way because of his father. Because of his rebellious nature, he was constantly cast aside. Not only did his father look down on him, but even at the academy, he was everyone's punching bag. Once, his good friend Tian Yu was severely injured by accident. To save him, Ao Shui sought out his own father, but the East Sea Dragon King cared only about his own reputation, to show off his unwavering sense of justice. He did not even let Ao Shui explain, and accused him immediately. Then, with a wave of his hand, he nearly took his life. Ever since that day, Ao Shui, who already had no status among the dragons, was treated with even more contempt by his kin, and his path diverged from his only friend, Tian Yu. They drifted further and further apart. From then on, there was no place for Ao Shui among the dragon clan. Only a painful past he could not bear to look back upon. Little did they know, he had already abandoned his dragon identity, and mixed in with a gang of rat demons. These rat demons kept calling him boss. They showered Ao Shui with praise and flattery. This was a feeling he had never experienced among the dragon clan. Here, his vanity was greatly satisfied, since the rat demons now had a powerful backer. The dark, wicked side of them began to show. They proposed raiding human cities for some fun, and that led to the scene that followed. The rats terrorized the common folk, sending them fleeing everywhere. This spectacle made Ao Shui feel even more intrigued. Yet the events that followed slowly drifted beyond his control. Under the wicked influence of the rat demons, Ao Shui gradually lost his way. He began to destroy homes recklessly, but this time he felt no joy in it, for the endless sound of crying infants poured from the wreckage. It felt as if a crushing weight pressed upon his chest, a sensation that left him gasping for air. Amidst the raging inferno, the structures collapsed in an instant. Suddenly, a figure approached from nearby. Feeling guilty, Ao Shui immediately cowered away. The traveler was none other than Tang Sanzeng. This marked the beginning of their fated connection. Although this incident filled Ao Shui with guilt, under the twisted guidance of the rat demons, that guilt was soon replaced by other desires. From then on, he led the rat pack and became a scourge to humanity, living daily among the vermin. His dragon feathers faded and changed into coarse fur. Even his tail grew long and mangy. Soon, news of his atrocities reached the ears of the gods. The fallen Ao Shui felt no shred of remorse. Instead, he arrogantly plotted to slay the gods to satisfy his own bloodlust. The result was predictable. He was cursed to take the form of a steed, to force him to atone for his sins. The executioner brought him before Tang Sanzeng. The moment they met, they recognized one another. Tang Sanzeng's cold, piercing gaze left Ao Shui feeling uneasy. After settling everything, the executioner departed, leaving only the man and the horse to bridge their past. I am heading to the west to find the truth behind the world's suffering. So our personal grievances must be set aside for now. If you behave, you will be treated fairly. Otherwise, you know the consequences. And so, the man and the horse set off on their journey. But before they had traveled far, trouble emerged. A giant ape struck at Tang Sanzeng with lightning speed. You have no idea how terrifying Tang Sanzeng's combat skills are. Even when ambushed by a demon king, he remained calm and poised. A fierce blast of his energy taught the ape a lesson in humility. However, the monkey demon was also immensely powerful. He had only been hit earlier because he was careless. He never expected a mortal to be this strong. Gathering his thoughts, the monkey charged and headbutted Tang Sanzeng. Seeing the situation, the white dragon horse intervened immediately. A powerful electric current left the monkey slightly sluggish. Tang Sanzeng seized the opening and delivered another strike. The two traded blows, evenly matched in strength. Just as the tension reached its peak, the monkey suddenly burst into laughter. "Stop being so serious, I was just playing around." No sooner said, the monkey transformed back into his true form. Disciple, Sun Wukong, appointed by the Buddha. I am here to escort Master to complete the journey to the west. Before arriving here, the Buddha specifically told Wukong to remain low-key, fearing his rebellious nature would cause trouble. But Wukong thought the first meeting was the most important. If I do not assert my dominance right away, he will surely think I am easy to push around. That is why the earlier scuffle occurred. Sanzeng, however, had been prepared for this, because when the executioner was dealing with the white dragon horse, he had already briefed me on the monkey's temperament. To prevent the monkey from being unruly later. I placed the golden headband on him ahead of time. One chant, and I can make the monkey suffer beyond belief. And so, the master and disciples' first meeting ended with each holding their own secret agendas. With their supplies packed, they set off once again. Along the way, Sanzeng asked about the situation on Monster Avenue. Wukong boasted non-stop, recounting the days of his former glory. Back then, I was famous far and wide. All other demons had to pay their respects to me. Monster Avenue is split into two factions, Light Soul and Dark Soul. The Dark Soul path is relative more dangerous, so one must be extremely careful when choosing your path. Upon hearing this, Sanzeng insisted that he knew this place well. He told the monkey to leave the planning to him, although Wukong agreed readily on the surface. Inwardly, he was plotting how to make Sanzeng retreat. That way, he could finally be free from his shackles. But they had not gone far when they were confronted by some unwelcomed guests, the Giant Boar clan. Their leader was a man named Zhu Gangli. He declared that Tang Sanzeng and his group were trespassing, because this land belongs to the Giant Boar clan. If you want to pass, you gotta pay us a little toll. Wukong asked his master how to handle this situation. Upon hearing his master request a peaceful negotiation, Wukong lunged at them like an arrow released from a bow. His fierce attack was like a wolf among sheep, but that is not what Sanzeng meant. He hastily ordered Wukong to stop, but a bloodthirsty Wukong did not care about that. In just a few moves, he left them all battered. He even ripped the tusks right off their leader. Even though Sanzeng tried his best to stop him, it was a step too late. After doing all that, he went to Sanzeng to claim credit. But all he got in return was a heavy punch. Because what Sanzeng needs is a trustworthy teammate, not an unruly wild beast. Wukong felt a bit annoyed being lectured, so he quickly waved his hand to signal he knew he was wrong. Tang Sanzeng, thinking it was his first offense, forgave him. At dusk, just as the group was ready to rest, the atmosphere suddenly changed. Suddenly, a shadowy figure emerged from the darkness. I heard someone pulled out my brother's tusks. Do you really think my Giant Boar clan is a pushover? Zhu Baji, to prove his own strength, had challenged Sun Wukong to a duel. As an elite of his race, his strength goes without saying. And the reason why Zhu Baji has become so aggressive is actually trouble caused by his beloved wife. In order to prove himself in front of his wife, his temper has become increasingly violent. He possesses the heroic battle spirit of the Giant Boar clan, but it only manifests during combat. In his daily life, he is just short and unimpressive, which has become his complex. That is why he is even more eager to show off his bravery, so his wife can take a good look. He charged with the force of a dragon, but Monkey's ruthlessness exceeded his expectations. Even though the two fought like cat and dog, Tang Sanzeng and his party could not care less. They were even sipping tea while watching the show. Upon hearing that Tang Sanzeng was going to the west to retrieve the eternal fire, the Boar clan was suddenly filled with awe and warm admiration, because their Giant Boar clan has always revered the wise. Meanwhile, the fight between the boar and the monkey has reached a fever pitch. Monkey made a 360-degree spin in the air, along with a powerful backflip, directly leaving Zhu Gangli dizzy. Seeing the two of them fighting endlessly, Tang Sanzeng finally could not sit still. You have been fighting for so long, you must be tired, right? Why did not you take a break? The scene shifts to the group inside the Giant Boar city. Zhu Gangli changed his attitude, saying that friends are made through fighting. After a few drinks, the earlier unpleasantness was forgotten. That is when an elder suddenly spoke up. Hi King, did not you have something to say to Monk Sanzeng? Hearing this, Gangli hopped off his throne. Though I, Zhu Gangli, have no talent or virtue, my character is upright. I humbly request Master Sanzeng to take me as his disciple. But Sanzeng's discerning eyes had long seen through it all. He saw that Zhu Gangli was not sincere. He only wanted to become a disciple for his own hidden agenda. So he decisively refused. I apologize, but we must be on our way. Let us part here. As soon as he finished speaking, he called Wukong to leave. Seeing that he could not get what he wanted, Zhu Gangli immediately became furious. If you won't be my master, then you are my enemy. There is no need for me to be polite anymore. Men, seize these two scum for me. But just as the boars were about to make a move, a voice stopped everyone cold. The incomer was Zhu Gangli's wife, Quillan. You promised me you would become a man of success. A boar striving for self-improvement. You are supposed to study under a wise man, elevating the culture of the pig tribe. Are you having second thoughts now? Facing his wife's pushy nature, Zhu Gangli instantly turned into a spineless coward. And so, Tang Sanzeng and his disciples left the city smoothly, but they had not gone far before someone called out to them. Zhu Gangli was seen chasing after them with a sun hat on his head. This hat was a vessel for all the love his wife had for him. Fueled by the power of love, Zhu Gangli's confidence soared. He vowed to become an apprentice at all costs. And that is how the scene came to pass. He was kowtowing and apologizing repeatedly. Even after being sent flying, he did not give up. Seeing that such persistence was getting them nowhere, Tang Sanzeng finally accepted him as his disciple. From then on, Gangli was renamed Baji, and with Baji's departure, the pig city felt no sorrow. On the contrary, they erupted in joy. Seeing Baji head off, Zhu Yonglie immediately raised his arms and cheered, declaring himself the new chief from that moment on. As for his sister-in-law, he would surely take good care of her. One bite of Tang Sanzeng's flesh grants eternal life. This rumor had spread across the entire Monster Avenue. Countless powerful demons began to ready themselves, all planning to get a taste of the prize. Just a moment ago, while Tang Sanzeng and his team were crossing the desert, they had recruited their last disciple, Sha Wujing, and this moment was witnessed by the passing nine-tailed fox. Tang Sanzeng and his monkey's ferocity had left her quite intrigued. This would eventually lead to Nine-Tail's demise. Just like that, news of Tang Sanzeng's journey west gradually spread throughout Monster Avenue. To prevent them from obtaining the eternal fire, various rumors began to circulate on the road. The initial version was that a single bite of his flesh would grant 100 years of power and eternal youth. But of course, monsters are just like humans in essence. They all love to exaggerate. As it spread, it became even more ridiculous. One bite of his flesh, and you become an immortal with eternal life. And some clueless, powerful demons believed it blindly and decided to take action. After centuries of stagnation on Monster Avenue, a group of formidable demons had already emerged. The most notable among them were the Gold and Silver Horn brothers, as well as the White-Bone Spirit who had cultivated for ages, and a humble-looking toad. Meanwhile, the oblivious Tang Sanzeng and his group were still hacking their way through the thorns. Just as they were planning to call it a day, something strange happened. A pair of eyes appeared in the darkness, watching them. Seeing this, Sun Wukong immediately gave chase. After some pursuit, he finally caught up to the stranger. It has been hundreds of years. Are you still as agile as before? Upon seeing each other, Nine-Tails was as happy as a child, fussing over Wukong and unable to let him go. The two reminisced about their past adventures. It was a truly joyful and pleasant time. More and more delighted, Nine-Tails pulled the monkey along to return to Flower Fruit Mountain, but she was refused by Sun Wukong. He explained Tang Sanzeng's situation to her. Hearing this, Nine-Tails said nothing more, but simply asked the monkey to introduce her to these people. The scene shifted as they arrived at Nine-Tails' dwelling. After preparing a table full of delicacies, she began to talk about her past boyfriends. As she spoke, she became a bit sentimental, because their lifespans were simply too short. Just as the monkey was beginning to feel sorry for her, Nine-Tails changed her tone and said, "Do not feel sad for me. I have just found a new companion. Master Tang Sanzeng, stop your journey, and stay here, won't you?" The nine-tailed fox wants to take Tang Sanzeng as her little hubby, just because he is handsome and smooth-skinned. Any man the nine-tailed fox sets her eyes on, without exception, will fall for her charms, because she is nothing short of a heart-stealing sorceress. No matter who you are, once she fancies you, you are doomed to be head over heels for her. Though they say love cannot be forced, the nine-tailed fox always has her ways. She uses that dagger to slice open the victim's chest, then rips out their heart to devour it. That way, anyone eaten will be subservient to her. To keep Wukong from interfering, she specifically used reverse psychology on him. The stone monkey of old was a force that feared nothing. How is it that after being locked away for centuries, you have become such a little lamb? I can tell your master-disciple relationship is far from harmonious. Go find your true self, stone monkey. Her words are full of seduction, stirring a ripple in the calm heart of our Monkey King. Visions of his past peerless self flash through his mind. Memories overwhelm Wukong, leaving him dazed. Even the calls from Tang Sanzeng fall on deaf ears. Seeing the biggest threat to her plan, Wukong, who has lost his fighting will, she decides to stop stalling and strike immediately. Seeing this, Baji loses all urge to continue eating. He flips the table in an instant. They all scramble to run outside, but the once small room transforms into a labyrinth in the blink of an eye. Every attempt to escape is futile. Even Sha Wujing, who excels at formations, is completely clueless. Seeing everyone running around like headless chickens, the nine-tailed fox slowly walks over and says, "The rules of this shack are simple. Those who enter by choice must surrender all resistance." Hearing this, Baji's gut turns green with regret. He thinks to himself that this is no ordinary bun to be taken lightly. Upon hearing this, Tang Sanzeng schemes and states, "If you open the barrier, we can talk things out." But the nine-tailed fox has not lived for millennia for nothing. She does not buy such hollow bait. The moment she finishes, she unleashes hell, sending everyone flying. To keep his master from being possessed by the fox, Sha Wujing desperately tries to block her. But inside her domain, the fox is a deity. All attacks are in vain. In a split second, Sha Wujing is beaten to dust. Seeing his disciple in such a wretched state, Tang Sanzeng throws a direct punch, catching the nine-tailed fox off guard. Never before has any man hurt the nine-tailed fox like this, and this action of Tang Sanzeng's is something she finds hard to accept. Consequently, she descends into pure madness. With one lash of her grand tail, she pierces through both their bodies. How painful must it be to kill your own best friend? Goodbye, my dear friend. As Wukong swings his staff, the nine-tailed fox meets her tragic end. As it turns out, just moments ago, when the nine-tailed fox was about to succeed, Wukong appeared in the nick of time to stop her. Seeing this, the nine-tailed fox urged him not to intervene, because she did not want their relationship to break. After all, they were once very close. But Wukong's following words left her stunned. Tang Sanzeng is a troublesome guy to deal with, always nitpicking at everything. And Baji, I know he often talks bad about me behind my back, but they are my master and junior brother. I cannot just sit by and watch them die. But the nine-tailed fox insisted. The men she fancies never get away. Wukong saw that reasonable talk was going nowhere. So he said, do not blame me, before acting decisively. As the Monkey King raised his hand, his staff fell. The magical barrier cottage crumbled into ruins in an instant, witnessing her most cherished treasure being destroyed. Zhu Wei completely lost it, because that little cottage held countless beautiful memories of hers. In her fury, Zhu Wei unleashed power far beyond her limits. A massive whirlwind sent Tang Sanzeng and the others flying. How can you be so cold-hearted, you stone monkey? You knew how much this meant to me. And I was always so good to you. Wukong replied that his hands were tied. If the token was not destroyed, no one would be your match. With that, he urged her to turn back and stop doing foolish things. But faced with such heartless behavior from the monkey, Zhu Wei was absolutely not going to let it slide. Stone monkey. From now on, our bond is severed forever. No sooner had she spoken than Zhu Wei assumed a combat stance. As her spell chanting concluded, Nine Tails instantly unleashed terrifying pillars of energy. The fierce onslaught was relentless, catching Wukong off guard for a moment. Destroy everything, all of you. The violent shockwave engulfed everything within 100 miles, and Tang Sanzeng was caught in the middle of it. As he was about to plummet from the soaring heights, Zhu Wei immediately and repeatedly apologized, saying it was not intentional. Then she lunged forward, intending to catch him. Don't be afraid, I am coming to save you, and then we can live happily together. But before she could finish, a figure blocked her path. Goodbye, my dear friend. After a series of violent impacts, Zhu Wei was battered into silence. Monkey, I did not want it to end up like this. I am truly, truly sorry. Are we still good friends? Hearing this, Wukong immediately said yes, and gently held Zhu Wei's hand. Although I am a vixen, I really like humans. I only wanted to live a happy life with them. I never intended to do anything bad. Hearing this, Wukong replied that his master was not a good match for her. Let me introduce you to someone else. Really? They must have good looks. Don't lie to me. As her voice faded, Zhu Wei vanished into a cloud of thick smoke. Only a small trinket remained, which Wukong wiped away in his palm. This scene left the monkey feeling a bit troubled, because Zhu Wei was just like before. Every time she left, she would leave a small gift, just so people would remember her a little longer. But before he could finish his sentimental musings, a little fox emerged from the mist. It turned out Zhu Wei had not died, but had only been knocked back to her primal form. Although all her powers were gone, at least she managed to keep her life. Wukong felt a sense of relief regarding this. After cautioning her to be careful of the savage beasts in the mountains, the little fox disappeared from everyone's sight, and Tang Sanzeng's group embarked on a new journey. Do you know how powerful Liwer, one of the four great monkeys, truly is? Even when faced with the attacks of the Tathagata Buddha, he can handle them with ease. His primate combat techniques are even more unpredictable. He kept Tang Sanzeng's disciples in the dark. He was originally Wukong's right-hand man, but now he wants to kill him to quench the hatred in his heart. And the reason he became like this is all because of Sun Wukong's stubborn will. 300 years ago, one day, Wukong suddenly decided to wreak havoc in heaven. Even though everyone tried to stop him out of sheer strength, he would not budge, because his close friend Su Yi had been snatched away by the gods, and Wukong, who had always been loyal, in a fit of rage, assaulted the heavenly court. Afterward, he was suppressed by Tathagata for 300 long years. Because of his departure, Mount Faiyuan became a clan of monkeys without a leader. Many great demons had major issues with the monkey, because they could not beat him in a fight anyway, and did not dare to curse him. They had been bottling up their anger forever. Now, they have finally found their chance. The leader of the 100-eyed demons struck the monkey's lair directly, except for Liwer, who luckily survived. All the other monkeys were mercilessly slaughtered. Now, he has returned to Monster Avenue to escort Tang Sanzeng. This news reached Liwer's ears, and that led to the scene that followed. Liu disguised himself as Sun Wukong. He sowed seeds of discord among the master and his disciples, in order to ruin Wukong's reputation. He even went as far as attacking Baji and Sha Wujing. Unaware of what happened, Wukong had just returned from picking wild fruits on the mountain. Barely inside, he was scolded by Zhu Baji, accusing him of scheming and not wanting to retrieve the eternal fire. Hearing this, Wukong's temper flared up instantly. Don't pin crimes on me that I did not commit. I am sick and tired of being framed. But Baji clearly did not believe a word he said. He kept harping on and on. If you want me gone, just say it. No need to put on this act. Hearing this, Baji relentlessly continued his tirade. Just as Wukong was about to erupt, Tang Sanzeng stopped him in his tracks. Why do this? Give me one reason. This is your last chance. Behave yourself. You believe them too. I thought you had more wisdom than that. So turns out you really are a freeloader, huh? Upon hearing this, Tang Sanzeng immediately wanted to drive the monkey away, and Wukong stopped wasting his breath. He flipped over the fruit and turned to leave. With a heavy heart, Wukong cried out to the heavens. He said he had failed. They were the ones who chased me away. But only the cold wind answered him. Just as he was at a loss for what to do, a voice suddenly called out to him. Seeing the person who appeared looked exactly like himself, Wukong finally understood the whole sequence of events. It was this person impersonating him to cause trouble. But before he could strike, the other guy threw a pear at him. At that instant, the monkey realized the opponent was Liu. But before he could react, Liu began listing Wukong's crimes. Knowing he was in the wrong, the monkey did not say much. He just said he would leave his fate to Liu. But Liu clearly would not let him die just like that. He wanted to make Wukong's life a living hell. And at some point, Tang Sanzeng arrived there too. Looking at the scene before him, he secretly thought his suspicion of an imposter was correct. But Liu's art of deception was not so easily broken. So to get to the bottom of the situation, Tang Sanzeng put on a grand performance. He gestured for both monkeys to come into the temple. Then he began chanting the tight fillet spell. Do you know how to tell Liu apart from Wukong? Liu's illusions could even deceive the gods. But Tang Sanzeng remained completely unfazed. Because I hold the golden fillet in my hands. As his spell began to resonate, both monkeys started rolling on the ground in agony. However, very soon one climbed back to his feet, and that person was the real Wukong. It turns out Tang Sanzeng was only pretending to chant, all to lure out the fake monkey. Realizing his cover was blown, Liu stopped hiding his identity. He spat out a harsh word and turned to leave. Seeing this, Wukong chased after him immediately, because the debt he owed back then was finally time to be settled. If it were not for his reckless actions in the past, his kin would not have been wiped out. And facing the pursuing Wukong, Liu showed absolutely no mercy. A flurry of hits left Wukong covered in wounds. Just as Liu was about to strike again, his path was blocked by Baji and Sha Wujing. But little did they expect, Wukong blew them all away. This is a matter between him and Liu. You do not need to interfere. Perhaps out of frustration, Wukong just sat right down on the ground. Little six, are not you here for my life? Don't be shy, come and take it. I, Sun Wukong, never break a promise. Strike me here with your rod, and then your resentment will be gone. Hearing this, Liu wasted no words and charged forward. You think I dare not kill you? What a joke. He swung his rod, and Wukong fell into a pool of blood. After doing all this, Liu felt nothing. He could not believe Wukong really did not dodge, because in his script, it was not supposed to end this way. He just wanted Wukong to realize his own mistakes, and then frantically beg him for forgiveness. Little did he know, this strike cost him his life. So like a madman, he tried to shake Wukong awake. But the next second, Wukong's body dissolved into a puff of smoke. Only then did Liu realize he had fallen for an illusion. Before he could react, Rulai's figure emerged, intent on destroying him. Why regret it after the deed is done? Hearing this, Liu felt as if his tail had been stepped on. In a blind rage, he smashed Rulai's manifestation to pieces. Meanwhile, outside the battlefield, Wukong stood there, completely unharmed. He shouted at Rulai for meddling in his affairs. But Rulai replied that his mission was not yet fulfilled. He could not let him quit halfway. If there is a problem he can't solve, just leave it to him. Having said that, he turned to Liu and said, You killed him in the illusion. But are you happy? Let go of the shackles of hatred. Hearing this, Liu retorted, If it did not happen in reality, it does not count. Seeing Liu was bent on his own way, Rulai prepared to intervene personally, because it was he who had imprisoned Wukong for hundreds of years. The cause and effect started with him, and it must end with him. But Liu did not seem to want to accept that. So Rulai proposed a wager. If he can subdue him in one move, the past is wiped clean. If not, he will no longer interfere. Only then did Lu Er agree to the terms. The aura Rulai emanated was akin to a sovereign of the world. This made Lu Er have to be cautious. He immediately unleashed his signature move, the multi-shadow clone technique. But Rulai's Dharma eyes had already seen through it all. One strike grasped Lu Er's true body. As he slammed it down, the very earth shook. When the Western gods launched their invasion on the Eastern pantheon, who do you think held the greater combat power? The Western front was led by Brahma, while the Eastern side was driven by Rulai's killing intent. Don't ask where Indra is. He was severely wounded by Rulai and chased away. Years ago, after Rulai helped Wukong defeat Lu Er, Tang Sanzeng and his disciples set out on their journey again. Along the way, they overcame every obstacle. Finally, Tang Sanzeng obtained the eternal fire, but before they could celebrate, a major disaster struck the heavenly realm. When they arrived to deliver the fire to the heavenly realm, they were met not with cheers and laughter, but with a fierce attack. Upon seeing the eternal fire, Di Shi Dian finally revealed his true colors. He was originally a member of the Dark Soul Path. In order to obtain the eternal fire, he had been undercover for tens of thousands of years. Seeing the situation was dire, Rulai fought to death to seize the divine fire, and Wukong also perished in this battle. However, he did not truly vanish, but was reincarnated once more. On the path of returning the eternal fire, he played a crucial role. After many twists and turns, the eternal fire fell into the hands of the White Wolf. Full of righteous passion, the White Wolf resolved to return the eternal fire to its original point. He invited Tang Sanzeng and his disciples to set out once again. They had completed the westward journey twice before. Once the mission was done, his lifespan had also reached its end. As a soul, he started a business in the underworld, while Tang Sanzeng, being a mere mortal, opened a small inn. But their days of peace ended today. A young child calling himself Wukong appeared, having traveled all the way from the heavenly realm. He was tasked by his master to find Tang Sanzeng, because in his master's eyes, Tang Sanzeng can be trusted. His master is the Pushan Dharma King. He was told not to join forces with the sun and moon god Monkey to welcome Xiao Yu's. But for some reason, after his master welcomed the protector of the flame, Xiao Yu, he was killed by the Lord of the Gods, Dafantian. Word is, he died to protect Xiao Yu. Later, he brought his master's relics here to find them, and Dafantian is currently hunting him down. Wukong learned of Dafantian's ambition from the relics. He intends to seize the power of the Flame Protector and conquer all the heavens and realms. Wukong's goal this time is to seek out Tang Sanzeng, but Tang Sanzeng wants no part in this trouble. Just as he stood up to see his guest off, chaos erupted. In an instant, half of the inn was blown to bits. Just as everyone was bewildered, a god from another realm descended from the sky. At the same time, the heavenly realm was facing a major crisis. A massive city was flying rapidly toward the heavenly realm. Do you know how arrogant the Western gods are? To conquer all living things across all realms, they chose to attack the ancient Eastern gods first. They rammed their own temple directly into the heaven. The formidable Eastern gods were not a bit rattled. In a split second, they were ready and drew up their formations. You do not know who you are messing with, you arrogant intruders. Seeing this guy calling himself the Grim Reaper. Welcome the descent of death, you ignorant Eastern gods. Before the words even faded, he charged at Rulai's avatar. With a wave of his hand, endless death energy spread across the sky. A single strike shattered Rulai's avatar into dust. Rulai's true form was seething with rage. But the Grim Reaper kept spouting trash. I can crush vermin like you with one hand. Hearing this, Rulai struck back immediately. The first exchange was a draw. Neither gained the upper hand. Both were knocked back several dozen meters. At that moment, Rulai was secretly unnerved by the opponent's power, thinking to himself, they are indeed not to be trifled with. He asked who they were and why they were so sudden. I am the only one worthy of the title of God. I will wipe you gods of the Middle Kingdom off the face of this world. Yamaha's arrogance finally provoked the killing intent. Your insolence has angered me. I will return the favor with war and death. As the war broke out, the grandmasters of the heavenly realm woke up one by one. The gods of the other world were worried they would lose the limelight to Yamaha. So they all rushed into the battlefield. As they met, they questioned Yamaha about the opponent's strength. All talk and no action, that is all they are. Nothing to be afraid of. Brahma, however, warned not to take them lightly. After all, they are an ancient and mysterious faction. Once everyone had arrived, Dafantian stepped up. He immediately accused them of being cruel and treacherous. You asked for this. Prepare to face the wrath of heaven. The warriors of the heavenly realm tightened their grips on their weapons, ready for battle at any moment. The ones who killed the Pushan Dharma King and the Fire Protector. This is our final warning. Otherwise, you will face total annihilation. Hearing this, Supreme Taoist remained enigmatic. If you want to fight, then just fight. No need for these ridiculous excuses. Do you really take us for pushovers? Since you refuse to confess, then let us do battle. Tiger warriors, hear my command. Attack. Hearing this, the killer's face turned cold. Fine, as you wish. Engage. The soldiers on both sides clashed fiercely, turning the sky into darkness. Meanwhile, the war on Tang Sanzang's side was also about to erupt. You cannot escape my grasp, Wukong. Hand over the relic you have. Picoso refused to yield even at the cost of her life. The sun god, Apollo, then decided to take matters into his own hands. Suddenly, Tang Sanzang broke his usual calm and grabbed him. I have more important matters to attend to. No time to waste on you. As soon as he finished speaking, his body erupted with world-shattering power. Just as the clash between the gods began, one figure stood out as completely out of place. While both sides were locked in a fierce, chaotic battle, he just stood with his hands behind his back, watching the show. And this action drew the attention of the celestial soldiers. One soldier rushed forward, trying to take his head. Seeing this, the old man tried to talk him down, telling him to respect his elders. But the other guy did not listen, and told him to get lost. And so, the following scene unfolded. The old man behind the clothes looked just like a gym rat, with a body full of explosive power. In an instant, he crushed these small fries. But this action also alerted a terrifying presence. The moment he passed the battlefield, all sound in the area suddenly ceased. Hold the world, what is this? The pillar god of the heavenly realm. If you are defeated, you can end this war faster. Hearing this, Hold the World immediately took a fighting stance, signaling that he could give it a try. The god Shiva from the myriad gods kingdom will be your opponent. At the same time, wars of this magnitude were breaking out everywhere. Venerable Rulai faced the god of death, Mo. Guan Yin of the Killing Heart faced the god of destruction, Parvati. These figures were all capable of destroying the world. Every strike of theirs made the heavens and the earth tremble. But little did they know that this war was actually a conspiracy. Every one of them had been played. The goal was to have both realms' gods suffer mutual destruction. And the full story will be explained to everyone by the Sun God. Just now, to keep the relic from being snatched, Tang Sanzang and his team fought to the death. Countless heavy hitters of the monster world stood on Tang Sanzang's side at that time. But Apollo could not have cared less, because his immense power made him arrogant enough to disregard everything. He did not even fear the gods, let alone a bunch of mere monsters. His arms flicked like whips, with nimble footwork, catching the White Wolf and his group off guard. Just as he was gloating, the White Wolf seized the moment and smashed him directly into the ruins. After doing all this, he loudly demanded to know where Sulier and Xiao Yu were. Hearing this, Sulier was taken aback for a moment, then said that even he and Defy had no idea where the Guardian of Fire was. The purpose of this trip was to find her. Looks like you have all been deceived by Picoso. Just as he was about to continue, Red Butterfly flew over. Bad news, Sulier, Defy and other gods have descended. The war with the Central Realm's gods has already broken out. Hearing this, Sulier was shocked, asking why it happened so fast. Did no other deities try to intervene? Defy is furious over the death of the Sun Monkey. No one can stop him. Upon hearing this, Sulier slumped to the ground in despair, muttering that it was too late, way too late. At this moment, Tang Sanzang and his team seemed to understand something, so they asked Sulier to explain. I am not Defy killer. On the contrary, I came here to stop the war, but it is already too late. The war between the two universes has already begun. It seems now that all efforts were in vain. Meanwhile, the gods of the heavenly realm, unaware of the situation, are still being kept in the dark, caught in a fierce battle.